was your experience? How did you get started at Image, creating books for Image?
Well, it's different. I got started at Image through Jim Lee's Wildstorm Imprint because my editor at DC was hired away to try to make those books come out on time and make sure there was a story in them and stuff like that. And I'd worked with him. It was Bill Kaplan, and he just called and he was like, "You're fast and dependable. Can you?" I lived in California. That was down in San Diego. He's like, "Can you just come down this weekend and help me on some stuff?" I was like, "Okay." So I went down and I met Scott Clark, who I worked with a lot. He's now passed away, which is terrible. But I met Scott that day, and Scott had a reputation of, well, he just kind of draws whatever he wants, no matter what the script is. And I was like, that's okay, because I'm kind of an experimental writer guy. Let's make that the process instead of making that a problem. Let's just work that way, So I'd talk to him and I go, what haven't you drawn that you want to draw on? If he was like, I want to do Spaceship. I go, all right, we're gonna do something with a spaceship. How many pages you want to do? Like 18. All right, it's going to be 18 pages. What, sci-fi, romance, what genre you want to sit in? Well, sci-fi, let's do sci-fi. It's got a spaceship. I'm like, okay. And I would just try to take the things that he was interested in that moment and make a stew. And instead of giving him, I think I had to do scripts because Bill wanted to approve them or whatever. But I would also tell Scott, I'm like, just draw. I'll catch up with you. Here's my ideas, give me your ideas, and we'll make something out of both of those things. And it just became a very loose working relationship with him. And some of the other books I did in Image were very script concrete. I've always thought you've got to figure out what will keep the artist going for 30 days. They're the one who has the heavy slough to get through. As a writer, you're in and out in a week pretty much for a monthly comic. But an artist is sitting with a page every single day. And then if it's a success, they have to do it again the next month. And so for me, it's what process will keep them motivated, what content will keep them motivated, what will they be excited to do, and then on my side I go, okay, that's my toolbox. How do I do something that I'm interested in with that, as opposed to just going do this, which is really how I worked for a long time. I just was like, if you grew up with Alan Moore comics, you're like, oh, you're supposed to write a really long script that says every single thing you expect to see, but a collaboration isn't really like that most of the time. Unless your artist goes, give me a script with every single thing you expect to see. And then you should do that.
So do you remember the first time, your first relationship with Image?
So the very first thing, I was doing some short stories, and then they called and they're like, we're going to do this thing with Stormwatch, and it's going to jump ahead a year. We're going to put out issue 25, and then we're going to go back to issue 13, and then we're going to get to 25 by next year, but it will have already come out. And I was like, that sounds just batshit crazy, I'm in. I'm like, but what do you want me to do? And they're like, well, you need to write 25. And I said, well, I haven't read beyond issue 1 so far, and I don't have time to read it if you need this fast. So like, we need it by tomorrow. We have 24 hours to get this script done, and you can do it. I'm like, I can do it, but
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's happening. They're like, well, we'll just tell you over the phone. So we spent about an hour, and they were like, this, then this, and this, and this, and this. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what happens a year from now? They're like, well, we don't know. I'm like, you haven't plotted it out. No. I'm like, so I'm going to write a comic, and then we're just going to catch up to that? Yes. And at the time, I was thinking, well, I'll write this comic, so that'll be fine. I can catch up to myself. So I wrote Stormwatch 25. Then they offered me Grifter or something instead of Stormwatch. So I didn't do Stormwatch. So then poor Ron Mars, I think, had to catch up to this issue 25 where I just made up all kinds of stuff. Like just, I don't know, this, then this, then this, then this. And then I walked away, and then somebody else had to get there. So more power to him. I think it was Ron. Whoever did that deserves a medal. That was a mess of stuff to figure out. But it was fun. It's fun to go, what does the issue a year from now look like? Instead of what does the one a month from now look like?
Yeah.